Welcome to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 9th of September. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. Then on screen I'll share the event chart right at the start of the week. This gives us a lot of information of how the week will unfold. But then I'll go through each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces, which you can relate to in terms of your ascendant, sun or the moon. The week begins with Mercury, the planet of communication, but also of precision, returning to the second sign it rules of Virgo. It's coming back for the second time this year because of a recent retrograde. If something has been bogged down or has gone awry, things can start to speed up. But you might not see this immediately at the start of this week because the sun's still in a broad opposition to Saturn, which can be a very constraining influence. But by Wednesday, Mercury emerges from its post-retrograde shadow and forges a stunning and dynamic link to Mars, the planet of passion. So if there is something we need to say, we can say it with conviction by the heart of the week. Now the sun is going to be squaring up to Jupiter this week, suggesting we need to be careful about what we commit to. It's easy when the sun and Jupiter are at a right angle to be a little bit overconfident and perhaps even a little bit over generous, but also a quarter moon with the sign of Sagittarius and the sun is asking us to really prioritize about what we decide to do first. But as the week goes on, there is a magical link between the two fortunate planets of the zodiac. The greater benefit Jupiter comes into a perfect alliance with the lesser benefit Venus as the week comes to a close. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to my channel, this is a community. If you have any thoughts, you're very welcome to share them. If you're a returning visitor, as always, I truly appreciate your views and interaction. If you've yet to sub, please do so now. Help the channel to thrive, but also click or tap that bell notification symbol. If you'd like to take advantage of my very special year 2025 personal horoscope forecast based on your unique birth data, you can order now and get the rest of year 2024 free, 30% off, and also your life roadmap report. This is great value and will give you stunning insights to guide your moves. If you'd like to have a one-to-one with me, please see my testimonials below, and also watch out for the relationship app Matchful.me. It's truly brilliant. It uses Western tropical astrology based with deep psychological profiling to help guide us around our relationship moves and not just in a romantic dimension. Please see below for more on that too. Now on the screen now I'm showing the event chart right at the start of the week. And you can see that the sun in the sign of Virgo is now up to 16 degrees and 48 minutes. That means the part of its journey through the sign of Virgo is in the second decan, which is subruled by the rather steady eddy of the zodiac Saturn. So it's making us mindful of the things that we do, of trying to get some kind of practical benefit from that. But the moon is in the very deep Scorpio as the week begins, and that can see us perhaps a little quieter, thinking deeply about certain parts of our situation, but it is in an opposition with the planet of truth, Uranus, on the other side of the heavens. So something could be triggered early in the week which brings something to the surface, perhaps something in a surprising way. But also at the start of the week, Mercury makes that transition from the sign of Leo back into the sign of Virgo. And I do feel that that's going to help to release any kind of logjam that has developed. If you're a creative person and you've been trying to get something off the ground, it may have been a case of 2 steps forwards and 1 step back. Now there's an opportunity to build on the creativity but shape it in a more practical way. Now, at the very start of this week, you can see the Sun is in an opposition with Saturn. Saturn acts like a handbrake to the Sun. The Sun's drive in Virgo is to be very productive and efficient, but maybe our psychological world or our worries or perhaps a little bit of tiredness could inhibit some of that productivity. But as the week goes on, the Sun's right angle to Jupiter, the planet of exuberance, but in the chatty Gemini, suggests that we can start to pick up. Now that can be an aspect that can make people very generous, but also it can see us promise a little bit more than's good for us. So it's important to be mindful of that. The quarter moon on Wednesday has seen the moon move forwards and into the free-spirited sign of Sagittarius. Now, if we think about the archetypes, the sign of Virgo is very much about dedication, attending to responsibilities and obligations, where Sagittarius wants to be more independent and freedom-loving. So again, we could feel a little bit curtailed by those daily chores or responsibilities to others. So that means it's important again to make sure that we're aware of not promising more than we can realistically deliver on. But by Wednesday, Mercury emerges from its post-retrograde shadow. What this means is that Mercury returns to the degree where the retrograde got to its greatest extent, and that releases us from a 9.5-week pattern. But it also forges a very positive link with Mars. Now Mars is now in Cancer. It's going to be there through to the 4th of November, and Mars is going to be in Cancer for a lot of time through to the 18th of April next year, all but 9 weeks when Mars is in Leo. So how we feel about things, our home life, our family situation and our emotions, Mars can make us a bit more fiery. But I feel that the link between Mars and Mercury can just give us an ability to express anything that we're feeling in a very direct but also very precise way, in a way that someone knows that what we say is what we mean. Now, by the end of the week, that glorious link between the two benefics of Venus and Jupiter reaches a peak on Sunday. If you are meeting someone for the first time, whether it's in a social dimension or romantically, that's a lovely contact. And the reason for that is because Venus is in its home sign of Libra, very much about relationships, but Jupiter in the bubbly Gemini is also very ebullient. It can be very social and interactive. So whether we meet someone in an unexpected way, or whether it is a planned date, or we're just getting together with friends or someone we're really attracted to, the potential to have a good time is really turned up to max. Now, please stay with me as I go through each of the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces to give you a flavour of what to expect. Welcome Aries to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the ascendant, sun or the moon. One part of the heavens are urging you to grapple with practicalities. You have an opportunity to catch up with something that may have drifted, or if there have been some delays, start to get all the fundamentals working in your situation much more productively. But will you feel in the mood? Because right at the start of the week, although that opportunity is there, your physical vitality may be a little on the low side. But things will start to get better, particularly from the middle of the week as Mercury emerges from its post-retrograde shadow. And if you have been waiting for a key piece of information, or perhaps about an appointment or around a job application for some key news, as Mercury angles to your ruler by Thursday, things can really start to accelerate. But the other part of your situation could see you tempted into other parts of your situation, and that may be more to do with the social sphere, particularly with Jupiter and the quarter moon really much more interactive and lively. But if you can really focus on the key details, there's a lot you can achieve. And I feel as the week goes on, you will start to gain traction. But you can still have an opportunity at the very end of this week, Aries, to have some fun. And the link between Jupiter and Venus, which peaks on Sunday, is absolutely delicious. So as much as there may be some everyday, practical, structural, routine-based chores and situations that are calling out to you that you could feel a bit reluctant to grapple with, if you can get those out the way, you can free up the space and the opportunity to have quite the blast as this week draws to a close. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome Taurus to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the ascendant, the sun or the moon. As last week came to a close and as this week begins, you may have felt or be feeling a little muted. Perhaps your social situation hasn't quite been rocking in the way that you'd like. But Monday can start to see a shift as Mercury returns to the sign of Virgo, which is your sister Earth sign, but for you, house 5. Very much about sparkling communication, but also mischief and fun. So your sense of humour can start to pick up. Also, Mercury by the middle of the week emerges from a complex 9.5 week journey, and as it does, it angles towards Mars, the planet of passion, in a very quick communicative part of your situation. So if there is something that you're really feeling excited about, you can express your feelings around it with enthusiasm and a great deal of persuasion by Thursday. But there is a quarter moon this week. It is between the Sun and Jupiter. You could be very generous to someone that you're fond of. If there is someone who's emerged on your celestial radar from a romantic viewpoint, you could also be tempted to spoil them. But perhaps another influence this week, the quarter moon in Sagittarius, is asking you to just slow things down a little bit and just see how things play out. Actually, Venus forges a very practical but potentially fortunate link to Jupiter by the end of the week. But it may be that that helps you to enjoy some kind of serendipity. You may spot something that you really like that's a bargain, but it's perfect perhaps for your home or helps the functionality of your life in some way or another. It's been a pleasure being with you. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome Gemini to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the ascendant, the sun or the moon. Recently the sun has been asking you to focus on your more emotional needs, the heart of your situation. That can be to do with family matters, where you live, anything to do with nurture and protectiveness. But the rather cold energies of Saturn has been applying to the sun. And as you come into this week, just getting that classic work-life balance may have been rather elusive. It may just be in your family situation that people are really relying upon you or have been relying upon you a lot. How do you release yourself a little bit from this and create a better balance? Well, your ruler Mercury returning to Virgo gives you an opportunity, particularly by the middle of the week, as it collaborates with the passionate Mars, to say how you feel and to say it with a degree of conviction. But also, this is a week when Jupiter squares up to the sun. So the generous part of your nature is in some ways conflicted by another part of your nature that may feel that things have gone a little too far in terms of other people's expectations of you. But the quarter moon that occurs at the heart of this week gives you the chance to find the words to assert your boundary. And also by the end of the week, glorious link between Venus and Jupiter really encourages you to reconnect with people, to break out, do something really pleasurable, fun, creative. It will create an awful lot of uplift and just give you the boost you truly need. Have a great week, Gemini. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome, Cancer, to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the Ascendant, Sun or the Moon. You have a reputation of being the most feeling sign of the zodiac, but as this week begins, it's going to be important to choose your words with care, because with the Sun opposite Saturn, which reached the peak at the end of last week, still impactful through to the middle of the week, even if you're trying to be diplomatic, someone may not feel it that way. Or you could feel that someone's being rather dogmatic when they may feel they're just being passionate. But Mercury's arrival back in the sign of Virgo will help, but it can also see something that's been a bit stuck or bogged down, particularly around a financial matter, start to speed up. By the middle of the week, as Mercury links with Mars in your sign, if there is something you really want to gain traction on, you can take direct action, speak to people in a very clear way, and the logjam at the start of the week can make way for a sudden big step forwards, which can be really welcome. But this is a week when Jupiter and the Sun are squaring up, but that could bring out that part of your nature that can be very supportive of good causes. But by Wednesday's quarter moon, that may see you having to juggle some of your attentions. If you're wanting to catch up on stuff, it's important you do prioritize. By the end of the week, however, if you are clearing out your home, trying to create some space, doing some redecoration, if you do find some old photographs or family heirlooms or possessions, it can really bring a wave of nostalgia over you, but one that's really very sweet indeed. In fact, you could even hear from someone from your past, or perhaps a distant relative that you've not spoken to for some while. It's been great being with you, Cancer. Have a lovely week. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome, Leo, to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the Ascendant, Sun or the Moon. You may have had a juddering realization over the weekend that you're never quite going to see a situation the same as another person. Perhaps you feel they're being rather controlling or a bit entrenched in terms of their beliefs or values. But as the week begins, Mercury returning to the sign of Virgo does give you the chance to slice through this matter and at least understand the details of it more clearly. Conversely, if there are some people in your world that you actually really love being with and you can be really exuberant and yourself with and just go with the flow, those people can really appeal to you. But by the middle of the week, as Mercury emerges from its post-retrograde shadow but links to Mars in a sheltered part of your situation, don't underestimate how your past skills, experiences and knowledge can still steer your financial affairs in a very skilled way. Do count on yourself, have belief in what you can achieve. But there is a quarter moon at the heart of this week which could see you tempted to be a little bit more extravagant. Yet by the end of the week, as Venus and Jupiter, the two planets of fortune, forge a delicious alliance, it's the perfect time to get together with the people who just give you a sense of uplift, who are very accepting, perhaps are jolly, and just really good fun to be with. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome Virgo to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the ascendant, the sun or the moon. If we go back to early July, Mercury, the planet of communication and your ruler, moved into quite a sheltered part of your chart. Now, of course, it then moved into your sign before going into the retrograde. So you may have done some research, you may have been thinking deeply about something, but then it may have stalled, which could have been profoundly frustrating. Also, as last week came to a close, a very cool link between Saturn and your sun may have left you feeling low in energy and perhaps lower in spirits. But Mercury arriving back in your sign on Monday can give you quite an uplift. It's also emerging from the post-retrograde shadow and linking dynamically to the planet of passion Mars in your sector of future hopes. The combination of these two things can sharpen up your thinking but also give you significant energy to make some big steps forwards. So whereas you may have felt bogged down and a little deflated and depleted, you can recover your joie de vivre, particularly because Jupiter, the planet of positivity, is also squaring off to the sun this week. And when it comes to your professional situation, this can give you some ideas about how you can make progress there. The quarter moon on Wednesday, however, does suggest there could be some family matters that may need your attention. But do remember, Virgo, that Venus, the planet of relating, but also the planet of money, is in your financial sector and forges a sensational link for you personally with Jupiter, the greater benefit, the planet of luck, as the week draws to a close. So there could be something that you've been waiting to hear news on that gives you a really exciting breakthrough as the week comes to a close. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome Libra to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the ascendant, sun or the moon. To be honest, Libra, as you enter this week, you could be feeling somewhat world weary. But there's a little bit of a paradox because Mars is in a part of your chart at the moment which suggests if you seize opportunities, you can raise your profile. But there's part of you that may need and feel the need to be more protective and even have some quiet time thinking. This is augmented by the arrival back home of Mercury in your 12th house. But if there is some research to be done or that deep thinking, the link with Mercury as it emerges from its shadow and Mars at the heart of this week can give you a lot of insights about your next moves. But if you've yet to have a holiday or you're needing some time out, the Sun square to Jupiter just really gives you a nudge to make sure that you do get what you need in this regard. But ironically, by the end of the week, you can really find that your joie de vivre is revived. And this is because Venus in your sign forges a fantastic link to Jupiter. And then you can feel more outgoing, more in the mood to meet up, to do something more sociable and interactive. And that rather low energy and low vitality and low mood of earlier in the week can just make way. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome Scorpio to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the ascendant, the sun or the moon. You may feel as you come into this week that life has just become perhaps a tad dull, particularly around your social situation or even around a romance. If it's going well, however, the move of Mercury on Monday can give you a lot of uplift as it meets with Mars, your ruler, at the heart of this week, that you're on the right track. But if you do want to shake things up a little bit more of an extravagant side of your nature may come to the fore. You may want to splash out, get together with people, perhaps even enjoy a little bit of hedonism. If there is somebody who's just inching up on your celestial radar, at the end of this week, as Venus in a very private part of your chart links to Jupiter, that could put in play a sizzling connection, but you may want to keep it to yourselves for now. But in terms of an existing romantic relationship, if things have become rather too predictable, trying to get away to somewhere different, even if you do the planning completely spontaneously at the heart of this week, and even if it does cost some money, may be just the tonic you need as this week draws to a close. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome Sagittarius to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the ascendant, sun or the moon. Your enthusiasm can be absolutely infectious, and there may be someone influential that can really be impressed by the way you come across this week, and that's going to be helped by Mercury returning to your sector of success. But home, emotional and family issues may still be calling out to you, and getting the balance between making an impact professionally and dealing with those other personal demands may be a little bit of a push. But by the middle of this week, as Mercury angles to Mars, if you do need to put together some kind of financial proposal or restructure your resources, you're going to have the drive but also the precision to do precisely that. Now there's a quarter moon in your sign on Wednesday, and that's a quarter moon which suggests that finding again that balance between what other people want from you and what you need to do for you could be a little challenging. But by the end of the week, do give yourself permission to have some fun. Your ruler Jupiter in your sector of relating forges a fantastic link to Venus in your sector of friendship and sociability. If you can, just forget about those worldly demands. Give yourself permission to get together with the people that give you the most sense of fun and pleasure, then do it. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. From Capricorn to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the ascendant, the sun or the moon. Your stern ruler Saturn has been opposing the sun. That could have seen some tensions when you were discussing something, particularly around a point of principle, or if you're trying to get information, perhaps even on a travel plan, or even considering a new mode of transport. But Mercury's return to Virgo on Monday can clear the logjam, particularly by the middle of this week. The link between Mercury and Mars in your sector of relating can just punch through any obstacles you've been feeling. But one of the things I would say you need to avoid doing this week is promising more than you really want to do, just at a time when a little bit of space and freedom could be the perfect tonic for you. Having said that, if you do get together with people you work with or even encounter someone in quite a practical location towards the end of this week, there could be just a lovely connection which turns out to be really quite uplifting. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome Aquarius to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the Ascendant, Sun or the Moon. If you cast your mind back to March 2023, your traditional ruler travelled into the sign of Pisces, which of course can be emotional, but for you it's house 2, which is everyday resources, self-worth and values, but also money. And since then, Saturn's been urging you to work hard on firming up the foundations of your situation. So that may have meant economising, being a bit thriftier, or being a little bit more imaginative about how you've used what you've got. But as last week came to a close, the Sun in your 8th house, which is shared resources and where you're most invested, was in a face-off with Saturn. Now it could be therefore that where you're connected to someone else, or perhaps even your bank, there has been some kind of tension point. So as you come into this week, Mercury, the planet of communication, moves to join with the Sun again after the retrograde. It can help you to don your detective's mac and tease out the solution to any tensions you may have found. And because Mercury emerges from its post-retrograde shadow at the heart of the week and then forges a stunning link to Mars in your 6th house, which is very much to do with industry, self-discipline and attention to detail, it's possible that you can find the solutions to some tensions that may have been created. But there is a unique paradox with all of this, because Jupiter, in the part of your situation to do with speculation but also neat fun, is squaring up with the Sun this week. We've also got a quarter moon in your 11th house of friendship squaring up with the Sun as well. So there may be another completely different side of your nature that wants to be a little bit more free, extravagant and generous. Now how you play this is really down to you and your unique situation. But the great news is that by the end of the week, Venus, in the part of your situation to do with truth around relationships, but also your appreciation of foreign travel, culture, or just linking to someone who's a bit different to you, that forges a brilliant link to Jupiter, the planet of fortune. And it may be that something that does require a little bit of confidence in order to create an opportunity could see you in some ways bring a new revenue source in. Jupiter and Venus in a trine is one of astrology's most lucky influences. But the backdrop is that Saturn is going to continue in your sector of everyday resources right through to the 25th of May next year. It's going to move into your 3rd house for 3 months and 8 days, but it won't be until 2026 that you will get the outcome to all the hard work and discipline that Saturn's been asking you to input. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care. Welcome Pisces to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 9th of September for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. If we go back right to the start of July, Mercury moved into your 6th house, which is brilliant for grappling with anything that requires a real attention to detail. But then it travelled into your sector of relating and went into the retrograde. That retrograde continued back into your 6th house. So whether it's around relationships or a practical matter, there just has been a bit more of a brittle atmosphere. Also, as last week came to a close, the Sun was confronted by Saturn in your sign. You may have seen the situation in a little bit more of a cool way, perhaps even a pessimistic way. But Mercury's return to Virgo on Monday just asked you to take a step back, to see the situation in a bit more of a dispassionate way. Perhaps someone's responses and your own have been at a more human level. perhaps a little bit of give and take can make a big difference. And ironically, by the middle of the week, with your traditional ruler Jupiter angling to the Sun, you're encouraged to let go of the things that aren't really important. It is true, however, the quarter moon this week on Wednesday could see your emotions quite close to the surface, particularly when it comes to a work relationship. But Mars is saying to you, look, see the best in people, try to inject a little bit of playfulness into your communications, and the atmosphere really can shift. By the end of this week, if you've been waiting for some news on a financial matter, perhaps linked to a family issue or perhaps a property deal, some good news can finally fall for you. Please check out your year 2025 personal forecast offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. There's 30% off and you can get the rest of this year free. Have a great week and take care.